obviously we're looking to solve business problems, but one of the hardest things is actually identifying those in the first place. So for those who are kind of starting off with this kind of thing, I think this is a good place to start. Is we're looking for three types of processes, which is those that are highly transactional. And I know you guys had like your commercial variations and things like that, where they're happening with a large team every day, potentially
it's
100 a week.
going across several different models. We had another one which was an ordering process. How does a partner order this vendor product when it couldn't go through other systems? I think at the moment we're doing about 140 of those a month that are going through, but doing that via Excel beforehand and really just transforming that process.
Yeah. So yeah, highly transactional ones are a great area to start with. Looking for improvement. I know the guys at Smart Environmental who did our last webinar, that's exactly where they started as well. Compliance driven, obviously we touched on one of those just earlier.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other thing for compliance is just your normal decisions that you're making. A CFO or a CEO could be making a decision, but how are we recording that? If that's all just via Zoom calls or via Teams calls, it's quite hard to prove that later on. So using it, decisions and approvals within a workflow takes that away. You've got everything documented, when it occurred, why it occurred, and you're really protected there.
And interdepartmental. So like I know internally for us, this is things like client onboardings and employee exits, but I'm sure you guys have your own ones as well.
Yeah, I think for us, majority of our processes will cross several teams, and there's always a risk that things get dropped within that. Like it is, where things get let down a little bit. So we've had a non-payment process, which essentially goes across 7 different departments at several different intervals, and is quite a large workflow. It's one we took on later on in the piece once we had a couple under our belt. But 7 different departments working together on every time this comes up, which is usually once, twice a week, was huge. We couldn't sustain what we were doing.